Welcome to Section 31, episode number 264. I'm Dan Hammond.
And I'm Rogue Schindler.
This week we have some coverage of a local event here in San Diego, and we'll complain a bit, and then we'll talk about something else. But first off, you went to... Actually, I went to one of the two tournaments. I was showing up for the triples at the end.
That's
but
right.
You were there for the actual 1E sealed, right?
Yes.
Sealed? Draft? Did you draft packs?
We did draft packs. We used the format that we've been sort of kind of honing, I guess, here in San Diego, basically due to the availability of the product that we have purchased amongst the local groups. Johnny has been sourcing us with some mirror and some reflections and some premiere, and so we basically sat down with an OTSD pack and drafted 4 Premiere white border Premiere packs, 1 Reflections pack, and 2 mirror packs. It was OTF, so basic eroded things were eroded, banned cards are banned, and to add a little playability to things, if you use the triple treaty that comes in the OTF, then it basically is a super treaty. You can play anyone, and everybody can work together.
You can play all those weird mirror guys. Did it eliminate quadrant restrictions as well?
It does not, but we basically eliminated quadrant restrictions as well. So that was a side note. That was probably 2 iterations ago. We basically just said the mirror quadrant icon does not count for reporting for personnel.
I remember a long time ago we talked about why isn't there a reverse crossover card, and now there is. Would it be you didn't just work with that? You decided to just avoid it altogether?
Well, we didn't. We were going for low maintenance, and sure. We didn't want to print anything or cut anything out or bring anything. Everybody brought a pack of sleeves and gave Johnny $5 for product. So since it was kind of a short notice thing, just the way the schedules have worked out, and so since people were available and we didn't want to make decks on short notice, we went for the actual card only route.
Okay.
The one thing we did add, which I guess the last time they played, which I was not there for in this format, they found a lack of dilemmas prevalent in their drafting, and so Johnny had been, I guess, picked up the trick from you of using triple starters for backs, and so he just basically pulled all the dilemmas from 2 triple starters, and we shuffled that and dealt it out.
Okay, interesting.
So that was a nice supplement. We kind of were going back and forth. You may have caught the tail end of that conversation at the end of the evening, trying to decide whether or not that was a good idea. There were some substantial dilemmas in that pile for this type of event. So it was kind of a mixed bag. We did, I guess the total number of dilemmas was divisible by 4 with a leftover of 2. So we communally agreed on 2 to cut so that it would divide evenly, and we cut scientific method because it's pretty rough, and I was voted for. The other 2 were primitive culture and dangerous liaisons. I thought dangerous liaisons was a little easier because there were multiple ways to get around it. But I was outvoted, and I proudly bypassed the primitive culture with my acquisition and 2 greed. Thank you, Wyatt Earp.
Wow, nice. I was going to say, where did you pull acquisition and greed from out of Premiere packs? But Premiere packs would make it happen, sure.
Yeah. But we all knew, we made a point of showing those dilemmas around before we started. So we all knew we wanted to have, try to put in 3 officers and for the maglock, and try to put in some civilian and anthro for the primitive culture, because somebody had it somewhere. I think the maglock would have been a better choice. That was pretty heavy duty, and there were some decent dilemmas in those packs. So I think that kind of made it a little heftier than a usual sealed deck that is white border heavy, where you can just power through. It's like, all right, attrition be damned. We're just gonna send everybody and try to mow through what's left.
Yeah, I seem to recall most of our drafts usually are, I'm going to put my outpost at a planet, I'm going to beam some people down on the first turn, I'm going to attempt and just go to town.
Yep. And that did not. It was cool in that we had more playable dilemmas. It was less cool in that it made it more like a 50-50, where half your dilemmas were good and half of them weren't. And so instead of having a bunch of crap dilemmas, it was like, oh, who can get through the crap dilemmas first, which was kind of a fun, goofy, low ball kind of game, which is kind of more what you're going for. It's more of a, well, let's flip a coin and see who's going to hit the hard dilemmas and who's going to get the easy dilemmas,
or who can predict what the opponent's going to attempt first.
Exactly. So that was a bit rougher. I may have gone a little too single-minded in trying to get my interphasic generator.
Wow. Did you ever pull that off?
I did. I got it twice, and I used it once on an impassable door, which I could have solved anyway. The big one I was hoping to use it against was Archer, because you can never know if you're going to have those, that medical and security around in time. But inevitably, every game I played, the Archer was under the mission where my artifact was.
Of course, yeah.
So, but it was goofy. It was fun. I went ahead and dove into the triple treaty because I had heard good things about it, and I drafted a bunch of useful non-fed Romulan Klingon cards, and it was.
Did you run into the usual problem with that? People steal your missions, and then you couldn't steal theirs?
Not really. There were a lot of. I passed a wormhole negotiations early, and somebody else took it, but nobody played it. I guess it was just too risky. I guess people were a little more daring with the use of universal missions, assuming that people would be using the triple treaty and not being able to steal it. Those universal missions are already kind of risky, because those are the ones you come with, and there's a risk of duplicating, which I guess they're not going to be duplicated because they're universal. You can have them separate, but that. There's one that's stealable, and there's where you with the officer, and
I guess typically you're not using OTF rules in the classic OTSD format. You're just playing open and Wild West, steal your missions, and that's why you don't use a treaty. But if you're playing with OTF and you don't throw out stealable missions, I guess you're safe pretty much.
Yeah, and I had been drafting missions early. Because I knew I didn't want to get stuck with those, and there's some good missions floating around there, even some rare missions in White Border. I was really bummed I didn't draft the Rager in the Reflections pack that was going around, because my last White Border pack was Explore Dyson Sphere. I would have got those extra 10 points.
That's hilarious. That's awesome.
Yeah, but yeah, I managed to put together. I felt pretty good about my deck. I got several good engineer computer skill type missions, and I got a lot of engineers and scientists, and some good equipment. And I guess was either obviously it was obvious where I was going to go, and so the good stuff went there, or we also, I don't think I had less than 3 missions duplicated in a game. So it's always tough to, obviously the better cards go to the non-duplicated missions, and I've just been stolen from so many times that I just can't bring myself to go and put effort into a duplicated mission unless I know I can power through it.
Sure, unless you know you're going to be the first one there and the first one through it, and not going to get hung up, and you just give the opponent points, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what usually ends up happening. If there's something that's duplicated, or there's even if it's just a mission that's stealable, you throw out something that'll stop them on that last attempt, so you can just sneak in, and make sure you have the right skills out when they start attempting it. You sneak in with your ship nearby and
Yep.
take it out from under them. All right.
Yeah. Was it Charlie? I they had some really fun sealed deck only type maneuvers where, it just things you wouldn't expect to see. Thomas was stuck at the end of the space line. He went all the way to the end of the space line to get a mission that I had, it was way down there, and it was one of the ones that wasn't duplicated. And then he waited around to pick his people up from dilemmas that, make us go and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to drop the spatial rift or whatever, one of those where you can't go through it or you'll be damaged. And it was going to take him a lot more. It was already going to take him a long time to get back. And so he was, cursing like old Jeff until, he drew his hand and he moved his ships together on either side of the spatial rift and dropped a near warp transport. And then I think somebody else, like I managed to Q-net somebody off. I think it was Charlie off one end of the space line. So he dropped it where no one has gone before and looped around to the other end where I had been clearing out a stealable mission that I didn't think he was going to be able to come and steal. So, a lot of good, classic, goofy stuff that, you don't see in regular games because they're cards that you never play. I was very disappointed that I never got to, I was one turn off from getting to play my particle scattering field on Charlie. Because I saw it in the pack. I knew we were going to have that ship in the sealed deck, or in the OTSD. And he had been, I guess he was trying to make sure I didn't attack him or something. So he came over and he dropped his people, beamed his people down to the planet, and he left his ship in space. And I had the ship there because it was my headquarters or my outpost mission, and I really needed to play something else to solve my mission that turn. But I could have played the particle scattering field and just
locked them down from not being
all right, your people cannot beam up.
Wow.
But he had another ship with a few people on it, and I was pretty sure he had the people on that to steal the mission I was talking about. So I had to sacrifice trying to win points for cool points.
All right. So it looks like Johnny went on to win the day. Who's playing Fed Klingon?
He was.
Was it pretty tight? I heard you talking after the draft that everyone kind of changed their draft strategy, or at least you and Charlie changed draft strategies halfway through.
I don't know that I changed mine. I just kind of tightened it up based on the missions I was getting. He and Johnny both went with regular treaties rather than the triple treaty, and that was, I guess I just am such an anti-mission stealing fan that I'm kind of the opinion of, like, why wouldn't you use the triple treaty? You get to use all these people and throw them all together in the soup, and it'd be fun and do it that way. I kind of wish it was just everybody use the triple treaty, and just kind of level the playing field. But he also had a ton of big ships, and I was really waiting for him to come and start attacking me with just Klingons, and so that kind of hedged my playing strategy a bit. He also had like 3 or 4 outposts, so wherever I was,
wow,
he was there. So I was a little nervous about going and attempting stuff, but in the end, I finally I managed to get to one mission and hit a wall I couldn't pass, and I went to another mission and cleared out except for one dilemma I couldn't pass, and then I took my all my people to the third mission where I got almost all the way through and damaged, which stopped me. And I was like, there's only one dilemma left. I don't have time to go get another ship. He's going to win next turn. He's going to win in a couple of turns. I got to go. And it was abandoned ship. And I was like, all right, well, I have a ship and a person. So, one or two turns later, I can play and go pick them up. But he's like, so what happens? What do I need to pick them up? I just have to have a ship there and I get to capture everybody. Like, yeah, that's pretty much it. And he's like, okay, well, I guess I kind of have to. I'm like, well, it's, it's like 85-0, so you don't really have to, considering you could probably solve that mission right there. And he's like, no, I think I have to. So I'm like, well, all right, I concede because
that's rough to come back.
Yeah, there's nothing that's going to happen there. So
all right, it sounded like a pretty good day, and you guys, I do think I remember you hearing that the first hour was the most fun.
that's always the case, I think, for draft, but it was still an entertaining day. They're not three guys that I would rather lose to. We have a good group. And yeah. I think Charlie actually made that comment when we started. So, I knew going in that no matter how bad it got, it was still going to be a fun day, and we all had a good time, and joking around and playing cards. So, win, lose or draw, it was entertaining.
Right on. I missed out. I did, however, show up just in time for Tribbles. We probably started around 9 o'clock or so, 9:15. Played for an hour, and. Yep.
Played for like 45 minutes. We booked through it.
Yeah. I felt like I was in every round and didn't go out anytime. I think all my points were by scores, and that was it. I think I scored 100,000 or so. I just remember there was one round where TV, he either played a 10,000 go and then went to 100,000. Or he grew into the 10,000 that he needed, and that's my last card in my hand. Or he played the 1,000 famine, so I couldn't play my 10,000. It was that round that everyone had a bunch of cards in their pile and probably would turn the game around, but it was not meant to be. So I want to say I came in 4th or 5th. I scored some points, so that's not bad.
Yeah, it's always good to score more triples, and it was entertaining to have the bonus player win by virtue of Thomas not wanting to deal with this anymore.
That's right. Charlie won. Thomas said, I'm going out.
Yeah. Well, and it was like the first or second card in the last round where he was just like, Mazaga.
Yes. That's why the game was. That's why everything went so quick.
Get this over with.
Lots of Mazagas quick. Charlie won with almost 500,000, 482. Rogue came in second with 401. TV ended the game with 121,000, and I had about 110,000. It was entertaining. I'm glad I made the trip out. Even though it looks like Matt joined as well as me. So Johnny left, and then so we were at 4 down to 3, and then 2 more joined, so we had 5. So it was good.
Yeah,
good end to the evening. I had a good time. Glad I made it out. But as you said, it's been a long time since I came out for a tournament, and I did have a lot to say, just by table talk and bashing everyone. And for that, I apologize.
It was entertaining. I think Charlie commented it on one point. It's like, well, come on, he's got to make up for X number of months of table talk here.
Yeah, exactly. But no, had a good time. We wrapped up, before 10 o'clock, and it was a good night. I did not get to enjoy what you did, however, because I wasn't there for dinner time.
It was so good.
I know, and it's been on my list since probably August or so. That's how long it's been since I've been back to Arby's. But you got the Meat Mountain, and I'm jealous.
I've been meaning to order it for a while, and I kept sit down and realize, I wasn't going to get this. I was going to get something else. Last time I was there, it was like she ran my credit card, and I remembered, wait, no, that's not what I wanted. And so this time, I was dedicated to remembering. I wrote it down on my hand so that I would remember to get the Meat Mountain. And I'm so glad I got it for lunch, because that meant I could have the other half for dinner. And they were very nice about, I took it back up and I was like, would you mind heating this up a little bit, in the little microwave so I could have the rest? Because damn, I took some pictures, and I believe I actually sent them to you.
Oh yeah, yeah.
As I got it,
My
and
jealousy was raging.
I
No,
meant to post those. I haven't posted them on Facebook yet, but I will.
I don't know.
It's
Your health insurance provider might see that and increase your rates.
yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. It was massive. Um, it was just like I think I want to say you described it once as like they basically take an ounce of every type of meat that they have there
Yeah.
and put it
So
on.
if you don't know what we're talking about, if you go to Arby's and you ask for a meat mountain, first they will look at you funny, and then they will ring you up for this $10 sandwich that is pretty much a couple of different types of meat, and then a piece of cheese, and then a couple of more different types of meat, and then more cheese, and a couple of more different. They put like their chicken and their turkey and their roast beef, and then their steak, and then their beef, and then their cheddar cheese, and then their white cheese, and then their cheese sauce, and then they put
Yeah,
everything,
pastrami and
pastrami and everything up, and they
turkey.
pile all turkey, and it's taller than it is wide, and it's like a Borg cylinder, and again, the jealousy is paramount.
Yeah,
Uh,
I did have to. Like I was watching Charlie eye me while I was like, because I get a bite, and I kind of had to start on one end and kind of like squeeze to kind of inch it into your mouth just to get a bite around it. But it was really. I was amazed at how good it was. It was really flavorful. It was fresh because they never make them. So it was nice and juicy. There was no sauce on it. I didn't need any sauce. It was like really, it was really good. It was better than I would expect anything from Arby's to be. Uh,
uh,
as a fan of Arby's,
that
I
is
feel like I can say that.
two breaded deep fried chicken tenders, an ounce and a half of roast turkey, an ounce and a half of ham, a slice of Swiss cheese, an ounce and a half of corned beef, an ounce and a half of brisket, an ounce and a half of Angus steak, a slice of natural cheddar cheese, an ounce and a half of roast beef, three slices of peppered bacon, and the bun.
Oh,
Um, do you want to
yeah.
know how many calories you consumed?
Hey, it was two meals, so yeah, sure, hit me.
That's only 880. That's really not that bad. I mean,
Oh,
all
that's not
things
bad.
considered.
That's yeah, no. Like,
Uh,
considering that's all I had.
that was 3,400 milligrams of sodium, but
Oh, damn. Oh, yeah.
but it was only 45 grams of carbs because all meat.
Yeah.
Man, there
Meat.
are
How much
pictures of it.
protein was it?
Let's see, protein, 83 grams of protein.
That's wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, there's some pictures online. If you Google that, I wouldn't Google it before you order it because then you might not want it.
No,
I'll close that
it
up.
was.
Anyway,
They must have been out of tenders because they gave me a whole chicken patty. Like it was, when you get a chicken sandwich, it was that with all the meat on top of the other meats on top of it.
all
It
right.
was
Well,
crazy.
awesome.
And I survived. I'm still here to tell the tale. So
Live to tell the tale. Obvious.
living
Brilliant.
the
All
dream.
right. We do have a spoiler. Shall we get to that, or do you want to complain?
Sure. No, no. We can play any time.
All right. So I'm going to share my screen here. This is not. This is not the. Where's the screen share button? There it is. This is not the spoiler. Where is it? That thing. Share. Ha. I'm sharing nothing. Can you see anything?
I see nothing.
All
I
right.
can see your header
Yep.
ST2E-EN13005.jpg.
Yeah. Well, that's lame. All right. Well, this is let's close that. This is crew advancement, and I had the link up to the 2E card, so we can read off and see what it was. Crew advancement says consume 2, which would not, and it's not a very. I guess you just skip over that if it's because it's backwards compatible.
Yeah, yeah. You just skip consume and
All right.
backwards
Your opponent
compatible
names an
cards.
attribute, integrity, cunning, or strength. Your personnel with the highest named attribute is stopped, and it's 0 cost.
Okay.
So it's backwards compatible. Maybe not the best. It stops 1 personnel. Maybe your choice if you know what all the attributes are.
Well, and it's what was the cost? It's 0 cost, right?
0,
So you're
yeah.
you're paying for it in consumes. So if you have no points left,
Right. But in first edition, not so good.
Right, because you don't want to consume, you don't have any points, and stopping one personnel based on an attribute, unless you're really working a combo, is not the best.
So we get a conversion. This is from Homefront 6. And all we have is text, so I can't share that, but it says Space Planet, crew advancement from Enterprise, so that Enterprise property logo.
Sure.
The lore says in some cultures, such as the Terran Empire, promotions are often achieved by forced removal of one's superiors. So it replaces the quote from the original card.
And the text reads, opponent names an attribute, so that's similar there. Crew or away team members with highest printed value of that attribute are stopped. In case of ties, stopped all tied personnel. So if I say strength, and a personnel's highest attribute is strength, they are stopped.
Crew or away team members with highest printed value of that attribute are stopped. No, I think it does exactly the same thing. So if you name strength, the crew or away team member with the highest printed strength is stopped. If there's more than one, all are stopped.
But if it's a tie, all are stopped. Oh, okay.
So I think this pretty much does the same thing, which we just declared was not so good.
See, yeah, this is crew or away team members. I think that should really say member, because the plural confuses me. It makes me feel like it's already targeting multiple people, and it's really only looking for the one person, because highest is only one. Highest is one total, and you know we know it's going to affect multiples if there's a tie because it has the tie text here.
Yeah, the parenthetical.
Yeah.
All right. So it's still Space Planet. It still stops one personnel. I guess it could be two if you're playing, I don't know, a Borg opponent and they don't have any counterparts or queens out.
Yeah.
Well, I would imagine this
in
is...
what way this would be useful.
How about this? This card in Homefront means a similar card, such as this, will not be in the next set, yet this could still be in the starter deck.
Okay, I guess it's another dilemma for block. Another not very good dilemma for block. I don't know. I'm not sure I understand that whoever's, I don't know who's in charge of it, design or rules, or whoever's got the hard on for converting cards that are going to do the exact same thing. I don't understand why we're taking up space in any set with something that's basically doing the exact same thing when we could change things that are already confusing or are going to need to be altered or whatever. Does that make sense?
Why do this card when you could have done a different conversion that's a bad for rules?
Yeah. Why if there's one that's already kind of tricky converting between 1E and 2E, or if they don't like the 2E version the way it functions in 1E and they want to change it, a lot of conversions have been completely unrelated to their first version. Just to kind of get it off that list. This seems like a slot. I mean, I can see it's related, thematically to the upcoming, mirror quadrant block.
Sure. Yeah, I think I would find this difficult to put into a deck unless, maybe we're not seeing the other half of a combo.
Yeah, I mean, if you like a really specific combo that you really want to hit, like, spatial. What's the, shields. The shockwave, subspace shockwave.
Yeah.
So you say cunning to try to take out their most cunning person, and hopefully they have navigation, or something like that. Pick off a really cunning guy before you throw in the newly uneroded or the newly eroded spatial rift. or whatever what was the there was
Yeah.
that dilemma that was just uneroded that
Yeah.
you have to have smart people for.
This would be good for like Armus. You know, you can the energy field and roulette.
Yeah.
Um, not energy field. Sorry, sticky situation. If you want to strongest way to member is stopped, you could pre-stop someone who has high cunning, maybe diplomacy, so
Oh
they
yeah.
can't get past it. Or Armus roulette. If 4 personnel have cunning greater than 30, or one of them has integrity and leadership, if you know what's there, you can maybe pick off something right before, especially if it were doubled. You know, you get 2 kills instead of 1. That might work. I think with some digging, one might be able to find something to use this with. How's that?
Sure.
All right.
Oh, oh God. Okay, never mind. I don't want to. No, yeah, I'm not going to say that out loud because I don't want to have to play against it. Put it in front of God. Say integrity.
There you go. See, doesn't take long.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's got a little better. But again, the 2E version did that. So.
Yeah.
Uh,
All right. Well, hey, you know what? There are some people that will be happy. There's one more card off the ban list,
yeah.
and there will be some people that will be happy that this is not a card that needs to be in the next set to fill out the starters.
Sure.
All right. So let's continue our complaints. What do you say?
Yeah. Well, I say that wasn't there a set that was coming out?
Yeah, I thought there was a set that came out like last week or something, but I did not see any announcements on the main page. I don't see the little banner there where you can click on it, you know, just
Yeah.
released.
There's a
I
bunch of
guess
cards here.
if you keep reloading the page, eventually you get to available now. But it says release April 2015. I don't know when that was. So usually we get a nice release article, you know, happy day, go download it, but I didn't see one this time.
Oh, this
I
is
don't
the
know
same
why.
banner that was coming soon, and then it just changed to available now.
Yeah, so someone who goes to the site every once in a while might have completely missed that. Like, you know, maybe me. Um, I haven't even downloaded the set yet because usually I get told to on a
Yeah,
Friday.
like, oh,
Right?
it's time to go. Let's do it. Yeah, no, but now missed it. Well, it's available now.
Yeah. So you know,
So now you can go make yours.
I'll go peel it off, send it off to the printers, see what we can get back. Have you had a chance to look through the set? See anything enticing?
Uh,
Well, first thing I noticed is there's only 45 cards in the set. It's down from the normal 54.
yeah, I thought that was interesting.
No complaints here. I mean, I don't get to play through most of the cards in a regular set, so I'm happy to see that my attention will be split a little bit less.
Yeah, I did like, and it's changed now because we've clicked over the tick. But yesterday's card of the day was a Klingon-looking interrupt, which made me excited for something more talk related since he's kind of like that now. So an attribute booster for assault and maneuver events for when your Klingon personnels are attempting a non-alpha mission. Didn't we talk about this one already?
I think we did. Yeah, I think we talked. Is this the day long remembered?
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah, we talked about this a couple of
Okay.
weeks ago.
So the image is
yeah.
up now, though.
Yeah, it looks really nice. I like the core, Kang.
Yes, core, Dahar Master.
Yeah, hovering over Jadzia with Worf over there. Again, it makes me want to play. It makes me want to bring out that Delta Quadrant Klingon deck again and try that. That just because why not?
Yeah.
It was fun to play, and an attribute bonus. Sure, I'll take it.
Wow, invasive transporters. Let your Jem'Hadar beam to a mission aboard a ship at the same mission.
Didn't we? I was gonna say, didn't we have something that did that already? But I think it was dimensional shifting, and that was from
dimensional shifting, and you have to pitch an interrupt to do it. But it targets anyone. Whereas this is just an interrupt or pitch a card at random, I think, to do it.
Yeah, it was discard a random card from hand at one mission aboard any ship of the same mission, and this is Jeff Jem'Hadar, and you put it on the bottom of the deck.
Yeah. Oh,
fun! I look forward to being beat up by Jem'Hadar.
Yay!
Well, I'll tell you what. When was the last time you had a combat?
Touche.
I mean, it was probably
It's been a
against
while.
Thomas, and maybe some Bajoran.
Yeah, I was gonna say last time I played against somebody playing a Bajoran resistance deck.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, well, excellent.
Yeah.
I look forward to having a printout in my hand so I can pour through it, cut them out, and figure out what I want to do next. When is the next? I know we have a scrapbooking party coming up a week from Saturday, so we'll probably get some tribbles in and some promos made. Do we have anything on the agenda after that?
We do. I believe it is the first weekend of May.
Okay.
Yes, May 2nd is the next tournament. That's going to be TUI, and that's
Perfect.
going to be our Strange Bedfellows release
Strange
event.
are on.
Yes.
Okay.
So that'll be our one. That'll, I guess, our TUI warm up event before regionals, which is going to be later in May.
I'm totally going to show up with a set 7 Ferengi deck and say, oh, I thought this was the Strange New Worlds release event. My mistake.
Oh, the wrong Strange.
I got the
You're all gone. I thought you were going to say like a Project Trek Ferengi deck, and you were going to have the lobes and not have the lobes.
Man, I think I came across those cards a little while back. You know, duct tape on the front of a bunch of Young Jedi cards.
Oh man.
Project Trek. All right, very good. I think Project Trek is a good note to end it on. What do you think?
Indeed, that clearly means we're out of intelligence for this week. But we'll give a shout out to our intelligence source for providing us with this interesting home front spoiler, and of course to Warp 11 for their awesome theme song as always. I am Sir Rogue.
And I'm Sir Dan.
And I will remind you all to expand your power in the universe.
And I will tell you to go on a bounty hunt if you're in Anaheim this weekend to end.